Yo, taxes in Canada are so cooked, because what do you mean I'm paying 40%? 40%?
While we're paying taxes to fucking, I don't even know where my taxes are going at this point because our housing is fucked.
The Kearney Liberals announced today that they are going to be automatically filing taxes for low-income Canadians.
Right? Federal and provincial income tax, $19,500. CPP and employment insurance deductions, $4,000.
And they're telling me I came out of a pandemic owing the government $20,000. This is fucking Canada.
What the fuck is the point in being taxed to death if we get no fucking services from it?
That over the last 8 years, taxes have increased by 3/4. And I'm not just talking about the high cost of living.
You're still stuck with all those things you hate. Potholes, hospital wait times, and massive student loan debt.
The government of Canada just announced more changes to the 2026 tax bracket, and here...
Can someone explain taxes to me? Because how is the government able to just go, let me go back and see if she owes us money? From 2024, you decided today that 2 years ago, you gave me too much money. How is that my fault? And now you want it back? You can't do that. You literally can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Every time something comes in the mail for me, you're coming after me. You owe me money for this. You owe me money for that. Says who? And why? If you gave me money, you can't take it back, right? Now I owe you money, and if I don't pay it, what, I go to jail? Because on a random fucking Thursday, you decided I owe you $2,000 from 2 years ago? No, Government of Canada, no, you cannot have that money back. It's gone. I don't have it to give you. So stop sending me things in the mail saying that I owe you money. Because no, I don't. You owe me money. How about that? Once that money hits my account, it is no longer yours. I'm not supposed to keep track of it. That's not my problem. I'm just a girl. I'm not a bank. I'm not the bank. Call the bank. Get the money from them. Don't call me. I have no extra funds to give you. I'm just trying to survive in this world, Government of Canada, okay? And now I'm gonna go to jail because you need $2,000? How does that make sense? Just take my $2,000 and just add it to the debt of Canada. I feel like at this point, you're already so far in the hole. What's my $2,000 gonna do? You know, is my $2,000 gonna fix the economy? Is my $2,000 gonna get us out of debt? Is it gonna save Canada? Is it gonna cure poverty? Is it gonna fix the housing crisis? Is it gonna fix anything? No. You know what's gonna fix? My debt. If I had $2,000 to piss in the wind, sure, I'd give it to you. You can just open up a tab for me now. And then we'll just do like an IOU kind of situation. I feel like you can afford my $2,000 debt. Add it to the tab. So what do I do now?
Canada is so fucked right now. It is so fucked. I had the most heated day today, and let me tell you why. Because a couple days ago, I filed my taxes like a good Canadian citizen. I do that every year. I do my taxes. Sometimes I owe, sometimes I'm getting a refund. But this year, because of CERB, my refund that I'm supposed to get back is going to repay CERB. I get that. I owe some money to them. It's whatever. I understand that. However, when you open your CRA account, you know, when you log on and it tells you, hey, if this is going to put you in financial burden or whatever, call us and we can get it back to you. So I'm like, I'm not really in trouble, but I mean, I live in Vancouver, specifically the North Shore. So shit ain't cheap, especially with our fucking politics going on. This fucking, don't even get me started on that. Anyways, so I call them and shit ain't cheap here. So I call them and I'm like, okay, I don't want to, I mean, I'm fine that you guys take whatever else any other time, but this time, like, I need it, like, whatever, I lied, I said I need rent, whatever. And so she's like, okay, so you need to set up a payment plan and then call directly to CRA because I called the CERB people first. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So they put me on a payment plan, whatever. And I call CRA and the first lady. So she's like, well, did you get your notice of assessment yet? And I was like, yeah, so I'm getting X amount refunded. And she goes, well, if it's already been applied to the CERB credit, I can't do anything about it. And I was like, so they're just like taking my money, not telling me, not sending me a message first? Because I made sure to check my mail before I started calling them, like the CRA mail. She's like, yeah, there's nothing I can do. And I was like, okay, bye. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll call again and maybe I'll get someone a little bit smarter. And I do. So I call again and I'm like, okay, hey, like I'm trying to get my refund back because of the financial burden. And I called CERB and they said, if I make these payment arrangements, I can get my refund returned to me that you guys took. And again, excuse my hair. I just realized I look like crazy because I just got out of the shower, but I'm in class, going to class. Okay. And she's like, oh yeah, but they're very strict when it comes to giving you your money back. And I was like, okay, what do they want from me? She's like, well, you need to be in like a really bad hardship. I was like, okay. She's like, what do you need your money for? I said, I need it for rent. Fucking food. I don't know. Fucking basics of living. She's like, okay, well, you're gonna need documentation that you need it for, essential needs. So you're gonna need to provide an eviction notice. I'm like, I'm not that down bad that I'm getting evicted. I mean, like, I'm gratefully well off. So what the fuck? Why would I need an eviction notice? She's like, well, they need to know that, like, it's very, very essential needs and that you really need this money. And I was like, it's my fucking money. I don't even know why they're saying that I need to pay back a little. It's just a little bit, but I don't even know why they're saying I need to pay back this CERB. I couldn't work. We were in a fucking pandemic. Anyways, so I'm like, so you're telling me they're taking my money. I need to be getting put out on the street while we're paying taxes to fucking, I don't even know where my taxes are going at this point because our housing is fucked. There's homeless people everywhere. There's a record high in food banks. Where are my taxes going? You know where they're going? To fucking the government fucking assholes. I can't stand it. I'm so pissed. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
The Canadian tax scam. Let's get into it. So the average worker in Ontario earns about $65,000 a year. Let's see how much of that the Ontarian actually keeps. So you get your $65K a year, right? Federal and provincial income tax, $19,500. CPP and employment insurance deductions, $4,000. The government has already taken just around $23,500 from your cash. Then you get your money, you gotta go shopping. You gotta pay a 13% HST. So far, you've earned $65K, and really that $65K buys you around $36,700 of real purchases.
Your disposable income.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And most people think that at this point, we're done paying taxes. There are hidden taxes inside everything you buy. Gasoline has a 10-cent federal excise tax, 9-cent provincial fuel tax, which adds up to 19 cents per liter indirect tax. And then they charge you the 13% HST on top of that.
It's a tax on a tax.
And then you have to remember that if you're buying from a store, if you're buying from even online, you're buying from a company that has overhead and they pay taxes. What taxes? So trucking, retail, manufacturing, okay? They pay property tax, payroll tax, corporate tax, and all of those taxes are passed on to you in the price that you pay for the goods that you buy. So by the time you pay at the bill, roughly 25 to 45% of every price tag is baked in taxes. That means your $36,700 of spending power really buys you closer to around $25,000 of real goods and services.
Yo, taxes in Canada are so cooked because what do you mean I'm paying 40%? 40% of my hard-earned money to the government, bro? Like, tell me what the hell the government's doing. Are they scaling my clients for me? Last month I did $55,000 personal profit. Apparently I have to pay $27,500 in taxes, bro. Like, I'm so cooked. I actually have no clue why I still live here, bro. Like 40%. And everyone in the comments gonna be like, oh, move to Dubai, move to Dubai. But I don't know, bro. Just moving there alone would be cooked. But let me know in the comments down below. I know there's some states that have like way better taxes. Whoever's watching this, please do me a favor. Drop down any state or whatever countries that have like the lowest tax rates because I'm not paying 40%. I'm joking. I document all my taxes. I file all my taxes in case the government's watching. But yeah, it's cooked. And then my M4 comp, I have to pay taxes on that as well. Like, yo, I can't do this.
Honestly, I just need to go on a little CRA rant this morning. So I did my taxes like an idiot. And of course, the government took it all, which was like over $5,000. So, you know what I mean? It's not chump change. Like, I don't want to be giving them my money. So basically, back when the CRB and the CERB and all that shit happened, I claimed it. And as somebody who is self-employed, I do acting, modeling, I do blogging. Thought I made $5,000, which I did. So I ended up spending about 4 months back and forth with CRA, being like, this is how much money I made. Here's the evidence. This is the paper trail. Some of it was cash. And then I get my decision letter saying that I was ineligible. And then they proceed to tell me I owe them $20,000. So whatever, fast forward 1 year. Now they took my whole tax return. So I'm just wondering if anybody has any advice. I redid my taxes from 2019 to show that I had self-employment income. I appealed the decision letter. That was a year ago. They still have not done anything, but they're proceeding to take my money. And I don't know about you guys, but like coming out of a pandemic, when I was forced to stay home, I couldn't work as a single mother. And they're telling me I came out of a pandemic owing the government $20,000. This is fucking Canada, you guys. This is Canada, the land of the fucking liars and thieves.
Canada is objectively broken. In 2013, this country was ranked 5th in the world for quality of life. A decade later, we plummeted to 33rd. That kind of drop isn't a blip, it's a collapse. And unfortunately, Canada's decline hasn't hit bottom yet. According to the OECD, Canada is projected to be the worst performing advanced economy in the world for the next 40 years. We already pay nearly 50% of our income in taxes. Our healthcare system just ranked dead last in access to primary care, 10th out of 10. We're in the middle of one of the largest housing bubbles in history, with prices expected to rise over the coming years. And our food banks can barely keep up with the number of people who can't afford to feed themselves. This isn't just mismanagement, it's deliberate sabotage. If you asked me to design a blueprint for national decline, I wouldn't change a single decision our political class has made over the past decade. And while I don't advocate hopelessness, I do advocate honesty. It's no different than someone who's obese. They don't correct course by standing in the mirror and telling themselves health comes at any size and then making all the same decisions that got them there. They get healthy by admitting their habits have caused harm and making radical changes. The same applies to a nation. Denial might feel good in the moment, but it guarantees collapse. Right now, Canada is a house on fire. And I'm not the kind of person who believes that any political party is going to show up and put it out. In fact, the most helpful thing a government can do is step aside and stop making things worse. I don't need a government to solve my problems, just one that stops creating them. We're not beyond fixing this, but destruction is always faster than growth. And if the current government is allowed to keep swinging like a wrecking ball for another 4 years, we won't just find the edge of that cliff, we'll go over it. Most people think national decline is linear, that it happens slowly and predictably, but that's not how collapse works. Decay happens the same way people go bankrupt. Slowly, then all at once. We need to recognize the moment we're in. If we don't, Canada won't just decline, it will crumble. Do we really believe that we're immune to the same historical forces that brought down every great civilization before us? The Roman Empire ruled for centuries and still fell. Egypt was once the pinnacle of power and innovation. Now it's a tourist attraction where people come to marvel at what's left of its collapse. Why do we assume Canada is somehow exempt? The so-called Dark Ages weren't just the result of plagues and poor weather. They were defined by population collapse, economic dysfunction, and waves of destabilizing migration. It doesn't have to be this way. Human beings, when left free, are capable of extraordinary things. But if we allow ourselves to be dragged down by collectivist mediocrity, by people who fear independence, resent excellence, and thrive on control, then yes, collapse is inevitable. History doesn't guarantee our survival. Only courage, clarity, and action can do that.
We are being taxed to death. This was a study done by the Fraser Institute, and it shows that Canadian provinces has some of the most progressive tax systems in the industrialized world. What that means is for every extra dollar that you make, the more money you make, the more they take. Number 1 globally is California. Everything else in red is Canada. This is what taxation by 1,000 needles looks like. And what that ultimately leads to is a report that was also put out, which I'm going to call the brain drain. It's very real. Our highest skilled immigrants coming in the country, the people we want, they're the ones that are leaving the fastest. And the Institute for Canadian Citizenship, They're the ones that commissioned this report. And this is what was said about the people who are leaving. These are people who have built exactly the things we need. The railways, the infrastructure, housing projects in other countries where they do it better than us, faster than us, cheaper than us. They're the ones who can help us catch up. When we lose these people, we lose critical expertise that helps Canada succeed. We get the leftovers. Now, if you're an economist, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, there's a concept called the Laffer curve. Laffer curve looks at the relationship between the tax revenue that the government gets versus the tax rate. What this basically tells you is the government can increase the taxes up to a certain point. Once you get to that point, you start getting less revenue. That means people become less productive. They find ways of avoiding taxes. They don't want to pay those taxes. So that's when you get tax evasion, or in this case, you get the brain drain. We are probably somewhere here, being overtaxed with property taxes, sales taxes, income taxes, taxes with our after-tax dollars. When you create an environment like this, it makes entrepreneurship difficult. It makes investments difficult. It makes it hard to keep the highest performers in the country. There's many successful people born here or educated here, but then leave. Don't believe me? He went to Queen's University. He started PayPal with an executive from Scotiabank. We could have had him. Multiply this across many successful people. And that's where we are today. Brain drain. Low productivity that we have, the low GDP per capita that we have, it's because we're taking the highest averages. Think of taking the smartest people out of your classroom. What will happen to the class average? That's what's happening to Canada. We're being taxed into oblivion.
What the fuck is the point in being taxed to death if we get no fucking services from it? Asking for a friend. Actually, I'm asking on behalf of all fucking Canadians in this godforsaken fucking country. Fuck's sakes, I think people need to be more mad at this. I'm actually surprised at the amount of people that aren't pissed off about this. It's like the government, ultimately, at the end of the day, is a service. It is a service to the people. We pay them so that we can have healthcare, we can have police, we can have firefighters, we can have all of the other things that the Western world offers and people move here for and immigrate here for that we don't fucking have. What the fuck are we paying money for? What the fuck is the point? I just did my first year's corporate tax and I paid $5,000 to the fucking federal government and it was like, where the fuck is that going? Like, what am I paying for? I have a family doctor and it takes me a week and a half to fucking book in with this guy. Like, a friend of mine had to go to the hospital a little while ago. They were there for 12 fucking hours. Nurses are on strike. Homelessness is rampant. It's like, what the fuck is the government doing with our money that we pay every fucking paycheck to these fuckers? Like, what the fuck are they doing with our fucking money? People need to be more mad at this because it's like if you hired someone in your house to do drywall, for example, and they did a piss poor fucking job, would you pay them? Would you fucking pay them? No, you tell them to get the fuck out and you would give them a bad review. So it's like, honestly, I think how we solve this, we just don't fucking pay taxes. I think we boycott taxes. Everybody gets on the fucking bandwagon and we boycott that shit. Fuck you. If you're not fucking doing the shit that we want, bye. I'm not fucking paying you a fucking cent. I don't know how we put that into action, but I think it's a great idea. This rant started because I was just casually scrolling our community page. We're renters, we live in an apartment, and someone was complaining about the potholes. Also, I've noticed the fucking potholes in Edmonton are just fucking bad. So bad. And someone in the comment section said, they're like, oh yeah, it's fucked up that the roads are so shitty in our neighborhood, and homeowner fees and property tax just went up. For what? You're gonna tax us? Oh yeah, you know, yeah, there's we're gonna raise the taxes a bit, but you know, we're not gonna fix your roads. We're not gonna use your money that you're putting in our bank account for you. We're gonna just, you know, send that over to wherever the fuck, or just print it into oblivion and devalue everyone's money because no one knows about monetary manipulation, you know, but we won't talk about that because we don't want the people to know. This shit pisses me off. And it's like, how is no one else fucking mad at this? Like, how are we actually collectively not fucking just riled up and rioting about this shit? Makes me mad. How is no one else mad? This is fucking stupid. I don't want to pay the government another fucking cent. Taxes are a fucking scam. The government has been inflated way too long, it's way too big, and they don't give a fuck about our money and how they're spending it. They'll spend it however the fuck they want, and they won't tell people. I read an article, like, a few weeks ago about how BC spent $3.6 billion on, like, a climate initiative for, like, net zero, and it just, it didn't do anything. They spent $3.6 billion! And it's just gone! Are you fucking kidding me? How are people not pissed? Oh, also, whoever came up with the pet license fee or the pet license bullshit in Edmonton is a fucking con artist. Fuck you, city member, whoever came up with that one. That is such a fucking joke. Are you kidding me? We have to pay a pet license now? Oh, but don't worry, it goes towards maintaining the parks. It goes towards making sure that the parks are nice for you. Oh, I'm sorry, have you been to Terwilliger lately? You could launch Elon's next fucking rocket ship off of the goddamn fucking potholes at that place. What fucking money is going towards our parks? Please, educate me, because I am confused. Anyways, taxes are a fucking con. They actually we're not supposed to be taxed. Every tax that we pay was supposed to be temporary after the war. Why the fuck are we still paying that shit? What the fuck? So anyways, fuck taxes, fuck the government, fuck CRA, fuck everybody, fuck all of them. They're fucking con artists. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme. It's a cartel, actually. The fucking central bank. It's a cartel. That's what it is. It's a fucking joke. We shouldn't even be paying them. Fuck them. They're doing a lousy fucking job lately, ladies and gentlemen. They need to fucking go. Time to go. You're done. You're canceled. You're over. You haven't done a very good job. You're fucking done. Get the fuck out of here.
So Mark Carney is giving more money away, this time through the GST credit. And listen, helping struggling Canadians matters. No one's arguing that. But here's the problem. Why is it always the same group being targeted for popularity points? What about the hardworking Canadians who don't qualify? The families who wake up every day, go to work, pay full taxes, get no rebates, no credits, and still can't get ahead. They're not rich, they're not privileged, they're just stuck in the middle. Too wealthy for help, but not wealthy enough to survive the economy. Groceries are up, gas is up, mortgages are crushing families, and yet the message is always the same. If you don't qualify, you're on your own. That's not fairness, that's political targeting. Real leadership doesn't buy popularity with temporary credits. It fixes the system so working Canadians can actually breathe again.
This rant is for Canadians in regards to our taxes. I just did my tax return. I use TurboTax, and TurboTax keeps your taxes for 7 years. And I literally did my tax return just now and noticed how much less, and I mean ridiculously less, of a refund I'm getting. And I make about the same amount of money, give or take $5,000 or $10,000 a year. So I went through all 7 years of my tax returns, and I noticed that over the last 8 years, taxes have increased by 3/4. And I'm not just talking about the high cost of living, the carbon tax getting increased twice in only a matter of a few years. I'm pretty much not getting much back anymore. And you think with the high cost of living, the government would give us a little bit of relief. There's no relief. How are we supposed to inject in our economy to help Canada thrive if Canadians can't afford to put money into the economy because they have no money? They're not getting any money back. Everything's ridiculous. You think that they would give us some tax relief. Now, somebody explain to me, the government that we have right now, everyone, I've got a lot of friends that are like loving this current government and they want them to continue. But tell me, honestly, what have they done to help you make it easier to live financially? Because I've got evidence in my 7 years of tax returns. They're definitely not cutting taxes for us. They're increasing it. And they haven't done anything about the fact that everything costs more, like our grocery stores and everything. I mean, they do have some control over that. They can say, hey, you know what, we got to decrease the carbon tax so it doesn't cost so much for groceries to be delivered. That way the grocery stores can lower their prices just a little bit. But anyway, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me, have you taken a look at your taxes and seen how much less you're getting back and how much more everything costs? I mean, I can survive, but I mean, what about the people that are in their 20s that are trying to make a living, that are trying to build their life from scratch? This is not fair to them, especially not fair to them.
You know what eats up more than your rent, clothing, and groceries? The government. It wasn't always this bad though. Back in the 1960s, people paid less in taxes than they did for their basic needs. Now, the government's your biggest expense. And you're still stuck with all those things you hate. Potholes, hospital wait times, and massive student loan debt. The crazy thing is there's still people out there that want free this and free that. What don't you understand? They've taken billions and trillions of dollars and nothing is running efficiently. They could take 100% of all of your money, all of our wealth, and there would still be problems. You guys are living in a fantasy land and need to wake up. Imagine, you got to work your butt off for half of the year just for politicians to blow it all. That's Canada, baby.
Great news, Canada. You don't have to file your taxes anymore. Yeah, the Carney Liberals announced today that they are going to be automatically filing taxes for low-income Canadians, which sounds like super nice of them, right? Because they're doing it so that you have access to all of your benefits that you qualify for. Because frequently, lower-income Canadians don't file at all because they maybe think that their income isn't even worth it, or they just don't file because it's kind of confusing, it's kind of expensive, and they just don't care and can't be bothered, so they slip through the cracks. Sounds really nice and compassionate at first, right? Wow, that's so nice of them. They want to just make sure that I can easily access all of my benefits. Yeah, no, I don't think they care at all if you get your GST rebate check. What they actually care about, though, is making sure that they get their share of the pie. Because do you want to know what happens when millions of people don't file taxes? It means that the CRA can't audit those people. They can't find them, they can't collect from them. That's a lot of money the federal government is missing out on. But rather than say you have to file your taxes, they dress it up in this way of, we just really want to make sure you're getting all of your benefits. So if it's too much work for you, we're just going to do it for you. It's honestly pretty genius. You dress it up as compassion and accessibility, but in reality, it's just revenue recovery for the federal government. Because what they really mean when they say we're going to file your taxes for you is we're going to make sure you never avoid paying us again. To be fair, I do think that people need to pay taxes. I don't particularly like when really wealthy people especially have like multi-millions of dollars in offshore tax havens. Kind of like our prime minister does. But I'm sure we'll never have to worry about him making all of those massive elite rich people in the country automatically file their taxes through the federal government. No, just another day targeting the truly suffering people in our population.
The CRA just released some new tax brackets. Let's see which one you're under. Incomes of $258,482 will be taxed at 33%. $181,440 to $258,482 will be taxed at 29%. $117,45 to $181,440 will be taxed at 26%. Incomes going from $58,523 to $117,045 will be taxed at 20.5%. Incomes under $58,523 will be taxed at 14%.
Starting January 1st, 2026, all Canadians are going to have more in their paycheck every 2 weeks. The government of Canada just announced more changes to the 2026 tax bracket, and here's how you're going to be affected. Hey guys, so this is a chart that I made to make it a lot easier to look at all the changes across the different tax brackets that you may be a part of. So firstly, they made changes to the basic personal amount, which is the maximum amount of money you can make without paying any tax. So they increased that threshold from $16,129 to $16,452, which means up to this amount, you pay zero taxes. On the lowest tax bracket where you start paying tax, they increased the threshold, plus they actually cut the tax rate. So before it was 15% in 2025, and in 2016, it's gonna be 14%. So that's like a double positive change here. So the next change is for the second third, fourth, and the top tax bracket in Canada. So they didn't actually cut the tax rate for those amounts. So the tax rates remain the same. But what they did is they increased the thresholds. Bottom line is, this is amazing news if you are working in Canada, because now we'll get to save more of money and give less to the government.
I've been thinking a lot about this ridiculous narrative that the CPP is a tax and trying to think, where did that come from and who benefits from it? And then it became painfully obvious. Your employer. While many people try to argue that they would be better off just receiving that money and investing it on their own, they're forgetting that their employer is actually matching their contributions to the Canada Pension Plan, and no one wants to opt out more than a corporation. The maximum CPP contribution is just over $4,000 per year. So, an employer with 10 employees that are making the maximum salary for eligibility is actually paying $40,000 in contributions to the Canada Pension Plan. An employer with 100 employees is paying $400,000. You can see where this is going, and you can see who really benefits from opting out of the CPP. It's not you. The CPP actually works like a blended pension insurance product, and it's a huge boon to Canadians in retirement. It offers so much financial security because you cannot opt out of it and because you cannot choose the investments in it. Many Canadians don't have the financial literacy and the investment knowledge in order to make investment decisions for their retirement, and the CPP provides relief by doing all of that for them. If you're ever curious about how much CPP you might receive in retirement, Gilded will actually calculate that for you, and we're going to give you an inflation adjusted number that's based on the years that you work and contribute and when you decide to start taking CPP. It's important to understand that the CPP is part of your retirement asset diversification. It's probably not going to be enough to fund your entire retirement, but it's an essential component that you definitely can rely on. And opting out wouldn't benefit you, but it would benefit the corporation that employs you.